Hey everybody, it's Metal War God with part 2 of the Vinyl Hunter, and again, great finds. I just did part 1 here, so I figured I'd do part 2, the last remaining 20 albums I bought here a couple weeks ago while I was on a vinyl hunt. And so anyway, here's Vinyl Hunter part 2, and I'm going to start off with Rough Cut from, let's see, this was 1986 on the Warner Brothers record label, and launched, of course, as Paul Shortino on lead vocals. This is sealed. It's actually cut out, but still sealed. And really kind of nice to find a sealed copy of this. So anyway, here is Rough Cut with Wants You. And up next is Toronto with Get It On Credit. And I don't see this very often. This has come out in 1982. And great stuff, female fronted. Cover's in good shape. It's on Network. It's got the Network label. So anyway, Toronto, Get It On Credit. Up next, classic, Pat Travers, Making Magic. This is actually a demo, and got a bad little part up here on the cover, which is okay, I guess. If I find another better version, I will pick it up. But this is the white label promo, which I was very happy to find. Album's in phenomenal shape. Cover's used a little bit. Not much ring wear, just that bad corner there, but promo white label copy, which you don't see very often. And it's actually one of my favorite. Anyway, Making Magic, Pat Travers, one of my favorite Pat Travers albums. Up next, some Van Zandt, more Southern rock. Of course, if you don't know, Jimmy Van Zandt just passed away about a month ago. And he is part of the Van Zandt legacy. He's a cousin of Ronnie Van Zant, Donnie Van Zant. And so he did a lot of his own stuff. And this came from Q98, actually, which I don't know why they ever put that on there. I hate when they do that, but Van Zandt, this came out in 1985. And check it out, Van Zandt, Southern rock. Up next, the Resurrection Band, live. It's a bootleg, live bootleg. It's on Sparrow Records. And I used to have a bunch of Resurrection Band, and I'm gonna see if I can find when this did come out. I'm not exactly sure. 1984 this came out. So great 80s Christian metal, hard rock, great cover, good condition. Happy to find it. Up next, a compilation album. Called Crazed All Out Metal Assault. Came out in 1985. And of course it has, since it's a compilation, it has Quiet Riot, Queensryche, Zebra, Rush, Dio, Helix, Crocus, Armored Saint, Y&T, and the Scorpions. Surprised to see that. Gotta love them when you see those on there. Of course, the label there is Jericho Concepts. Very, very nice find. I'm glad I found this. And so, anyway, let's see that. Yeah, I said this came out in 1985. Sometimes they don't want to go in, but we'll get them in. Up next, some BLT. So Bruce Lorden and Robin Trower. I had this at one time. Great album. Cover's in really good shape. Album's in really good shape. It's on the Chrysalis label. And it's a great three-piece album. Robin Trower at his best. Actually, Jack Bruce at his best too. So it's cut out BLT. This came out in 1981. BLT. Up next, kind of more of a commercial pop rock, but I love this guy, Greg Kihn Band, with Next of Kin. And this came out in 1978 on the Berserkly record label. Of course, got that classic inner sleeve there with the Berserkly Home of the Hits, 1978, Greg Kihn with Next of Kin. And up next, Greg Kihn with Rockin' Roll. There's a song, a breakup song on here, Valerie. And this came out in 1981, also on the Berserkly record label. Another band that was on that label was a band called Earthquake. Not many bands on that label, Bay Area label, but gotta love them. Greg Kihn Band with Rockin' Roll. Still around today. Up next, some jazz from a band called Isotope and the album Illusion from 1975 on Gull Records. And I checked this out. I'd never seen it. I thought it looked kind of more prog-ish, and then I did a little searching, and it's kind of a prog-ish jazz. And very good stuff if you're into jazz. But anyway, Isotope with Illusion. Up next, I had it one time, finally got her back. Some Leonard Skinner with Nothing Fancy. Of course, On the Hunt, I'm a Country Boy, Saturday Night Special, Whiskey Rock and Roller. And of course, this came out in 1975. Classic band, classic label. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but on the MCA Records label, Leonard Skinner, Nothing Fancy. Up next, a sealed record from a band called Alaska, and you get The Pack. And they are actually out of Alaska. This came out, let's see here, 1985 through Island Records. And good stuff. I've seen a couple of these copies. Might pick up more. But still sealed, Alaska, The Pack. Up next, I had this, and this is a promo. Jafria, of course, Greg Jafria from Angel, went on to Soul Material. And this came out in 1984 on MCA Records. And it is a promo edition. On the MCA Records. So, it actually has the gold stamp up here. So anyway, Jafria, self-titled album. Up next, some Atlanta Rhythm Section with Champagne Jam, came out in 1978. More Southern rock. It has there's some great tracks on there. Champagne Jam, I'm Not Gonna Let Bother Me Tonight, Imaginary Lover. They put out a lot of albums. I think they put out 10 or more albums, but their 70s stuff was the best. It's on Polydor Records. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but still in good shape. It's got the bump out label here, the logo, ARS. Anyway, 1978 with Atlanta Rhythm Section, Southern rock. Up next, some prog rock from a band called Scarcastle, and you get Fountains of Light. Never really got a lot of airplay back in the 70s. And this one actually came out in 1977 on the CBS Records label. They are still around. They still pump out music. And clean album on the Epic record label. Good find. I'm glad I've seen it. Don't see these too often. Star Castle with Fountain of Light. Fountains of Light. Up next, some Crawler from 1977. This is the afterthought of Backstreet Crawler with Paul Kossoff. Of course, it has Terry Wilson on lead vocals, Tony Brunigal on drums, which were instrumental in Backstreet Crawler with Paul Kossoff, like I say, and Killer Hard Rock from 1977 on CBS Records. And glad to get it. Kind of almost looks like a White Snake on there. Label, logo, good stuff. Up next, I had this, but I figured I'd pick it up since it was still sealed. Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. Probably this one will be up for trade through the VCL vinyl community. So yeah, good stuff here. It's actually, well, this ain't sealed, excuse me. It still has a cellophane. The album's in great shape. But anyway, Unleashed in the East from 1979 on CBS Records label. Again, another Atlanta Rhythm section with a rock and roll alternative of Sky High, Don't Miss Me the Message. This one is from 1976. Early Atlanta Rhythm section. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Of course, it has a bump out again on the logo. Very good stuff. And I do love early Clapton. Of course, Just One Night. This is a gatefold edition. Got Tulsa Time, Lay Down Sally, Double Trouble, Blues Power, Cocaine. So it's kind of a combination hits album here, but glad to get it on RSO. Eric Clapton. The two left. First up, Triumph with Progressions of Power, 1980. Again, adding to the collection again, and just happy to get it. Classic album. Of course, I Live for the Weekend. That's probably the most recognizable song there. It's on actually Attic Records. Nope, Victor, this is on RCA, excuse me. So anyway, we have Triumph, Progression of Power. And this Eric Clapton, I didn't see a date on there. I believe this came out in 1980. 1980 for the Clapton. Last one I'm pickup, and I don't see this a lot. I was very happy to see this. Some more Styx with Kilroy Was Here on A&M Records from 1983. Of course, Tommy Shaw is in this band. This is a gatefold. And great album, of course. Mr. Roboto Man is probably the most well-known on this. Of course, Dennis DeYoung, James Young, Tommy Shaw, Chuck Panazzo, and John Panazzo on both. Are in the band, so great stuff. Anyway, so that is part 2 of the Vinyl Hunter, and this is Metal War God saying, keep it heavy metal, and I'll see you next time on the Vinyl Hunter number 3. Take care, everybody, and good night.